us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Dun, 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 dun. Hello. Welcome. Daily Trudge. Stuff. It's always stuff. I did most of my housework this week, so I don't have much to do. I do have to laundry. I'm like sick of the laundry's not short. It takes like 20 minutes total. Yeah. Without football, I wouldn't know when to do my laundry. But there's no football today. There's no Bronco game. So to me, there's no football. What is it? I'm watching my... Okay, doesn't matter. Got too much light in here. Notice when I sit down, it lights up more. That's why. It gives a. Otherwise, it's just yellow and it's all ka-chung. Ka-chung. We're gonna be in the language of the heart today. Page 37. I was just kind of seeing what we were in store for. I got a little excited that it was in the language of the heart because I don't get to pull this book out very often. So, I'll get started here in a few seconds. Everybody hit their meetings today? Everybody get to their meetings? Yeah. Sometimes we can get a little wore out on it and stuff, but, there are 2 times to go to a meeting. When you want to and when you don't want to. So, but I can understand getting an overdose. But, sometimes we hit those 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 million meetings a day, especially with Zoom now. And might get a little wore out. So make sure you hit your home group though. All right. Do check in at least. Power through it. Because then at the end of the day, you can be like, you know what? I didn't want to do that, but I did it. And since I did it, and yeah, I feel better about myself. So let's go ahead and do introductions. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. All right. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Now, supposedly, I have TikTok on here too, but it never shows up. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't even know that's just right to the right account. I don't even know. I don't give a fuck. All right. Page 37. Now, okay, let's just get started because it may fit kind of, because a lot of times what they do is they just take little excerpts out of things and then. So anyway, so this is titled, Who is a Member of Alcoholics Anonymous, August 1946. The first edition of the book, Alcoholics Anonymous, makes this brief statement about membership. The only requirement for membership is an honest desire to stop drinking. Notice it's gone now. Notice there's a word that's been added there, okay? We are not allied with any particular faith, sect, denomination, nor do we oppose anyone. We simply wish to be helpful to those who are afflicted. This expressed our feeling as of 1939, the year the book was published. Okay, now the word honest is in there. An honest desire to stop drinking. Well, that's going to cut out a lot of people. Because a lot of people, they're not even sure. Some people come in, they don't, we wouldn't be able to have We wouldn't be able to help people with DUIs or people that were sent to AA if it was an honest desire to stop drinking. Yeah. I don't know that I would have been able to make that admission at that point. You know, the seed wouldn't have been planted. Hey, Claire, it's good to see you. Good to see you. This one's not a podcast, so it's a lot more lax. So, since that day, all kinds of experiments with membership have been tried. The number of membership rules which have been made, and mostly broken, are legion. That means a lot. 2 or 3 years ago, the central office asked groups to list their membership rules and send them in. After they arrived, we set them all down. They took a great many sheets of paper. A little reflection upon these many rules brought us to an astonishing conclusion. If all these edicts had been enforced everywhere at once, it would have been practically impossible for any alcoholic to have ever joined Alcoholics Anonymous. About 9/10 of our oldest and best members could never have got by. Okay. There's I'm really glad that they figured out that not just white successful males were only alcoholics. Well, let's put it plainly. Okay. They don't want to say it. But there was still, women couldn't vote at this point. It was all about the white male. So I was saying, it says in the big book that we had to raise the bar to where it would reach them. Yes. And so out of all these rules and edicts, and people still try and put rules in them, like no double dipping. Nowhere is that in the books that you're not allowed to double. These are group rules in order to maintain certain things, right? Structure. If it goes to structure, I just pick something to pick on. I don't really care about the double dipping rule. I don't need to really share more than once, right? So in some cases, we would have been too discouraged by the demands made upon us. More demands. We won't tolerate it. We won't. We demand that you believe in God. Oh, see? Now we're religion. And we can't be that. It has to be so open that it seems chaotic, but it's not. It's not. Because we're following the tenets of something else now, of a higher power, right? Most of the early members of AA would have been thrown out because they slipped too much, because their morals were too bad, because they had mental as well as alcoholic difficulties. Or, believe it or not, because they did not come from the so-called better class of society. Told you. They're just putting it nicer there. Okay. We Ulsters could have been excluded for our failure to read the book Alcoholics Anonymous, or the refusal of our sponsor to vouch for us as a candidate, and so ad infinitum. The way our worthy alcoholics have sometimes tried to judge the less worthy is as we look back on it, rather comical. Imagine, if you can, one alcoholic judging another. Happens all the damn time. All right, that's why it's funny. All right. But we don't get to decide who gets to come in. No. If it's an open meeting, if it is an open meeting okay, here's the thing. Most meetings should be closed. Most meetings should be closed. See, the open meetings are for family members to join. It is for people that might be curious, or newspapers. A lot of times nurses and doctors need to attend a certain amount of AA meetings in order to get there. DUIs, things like that. Okay. Yes. At one time or another, most AA groups go on rule-making benders. The time is another one. How much time you get to speak. That's a good one, though. Naturally enough, too, as a group commences to grow rapidly, it is confronted with many alarming problems. Panhandlers begin to panhandle. Members get drunk and sometimes get others drunk with them. Those with mental difficulties throw depressions or break out into paranoid denunciations of fellow members. Gossip, and the righteously denounce the local wolves and Red Riding Hoods. Newcomers argue they aren't alcoholic at all, but keep coming around anyway. Slippers trade on a fair name of AA in order to get themselves jobs. Others refuse to accept all of 12 steps in the recovery program. Some still go further, saying that the God business is bunk and quite unnecessary. Under these conditions, our conservative program-abiding members get scared. These appalling conditions must be controlled, they think, or else AA will surely go to rack and ruin. They view with alarm for the good of the movement. Yeah, it's going to seem that way, but really, it isn't. If you want to know more on it, go listen to the Tradition series. Yes, Al-Anon will teach you about how to deal with the alcoholic. So I haven't been to enough Al-Anon meetings to really say. But Al-Anon's a fantastic program. It is for members. It is for husbands and wives and parents and whomever is affected by the alcoholic, best friend, things like that. Alateen is for those same people, but the younger people. ACA, there is Adult Children of Alcoholics, another good program. They work mostly on trauma and boundaries in that program. I have not been through it, but I have kind of read some of the literature. So, all right. So, and even now, I mean, I have a kind of a newer meeting running, grassroots AA meeting. You know what the rules are? It's a closed meeting. That's it. There's not really any other rules. I structure it, but I'm the only person really running it right now. But I'm not going to make any rules. I won't even do the 7th tradition. Not until we have regular people and we have a group conscious. Then we'll look at 7th tradition. But there's no need for it right now. It's helping people, and that's the whole purpose of it. That's it. But there's no real rules there. The only rule is you need to be an alcoholic. It's a closed meeting. Yeah. And invite only. So when people get invited, they feel special. That was done on purpose. I'm inviting you to my invite only meeting. Oh yeah, I'd love to go. Okay. I love that. I'm really liking that meeting for various reasons. There's some newer people in the program. A lot of my sponsees are starting to go to that meeting. There's some people in the meeting that strayed from AA for a little while for very valid reasons. They're valid reasons, but they trust me enough that they're willing to come in. That feels nice. It does, because I'm not going to abuse you. Just no. In fact, I will make the whole meeting about you if it needs to be. All right, at this point, the group enters the rule and regulation phase. Charters, bylaws, and membership rules are excitedly passed, and authority is granted committees to filter out undesirables and discipline the evildoers. No thanks. No thanks. I don't have any power or control over people, and I don't want it. I don't like it when people give me power over their emotions. I don't like it. It's very uncomfortable for me. Then the group elders, now clothed and with authority, commence to get busy. Recalcitrants are cast out into the outer darkness. Respectable busybodies throw stones at the sinners. And as for the so-called sinners, they either insist on staying around or else they form a new group of their own. Or maybe they join a more congenial and less intolerant crowd in their neighborhood. The elders soon discovered that the rules and regulations aren't working very well. Most attempts at enforcement generate such waves of dissension and intolerance in the group that this condition is presently recognized to be worse for the group life than the very worst that the worst ever did. Here's the thing. We alcoholics, when we come in, we are emotional freaking babies. We are, I'm easily hurt when I came in here. All right. I still can be. I was just in a meeting and it's very clear that it's a 3-minute timer. And the person that was timing said, all right, that's time. He's like, oh, okay, thanks. And he just left the meeting. He got offended. You could, and I suggest, or this worked for me. Yeah. Yeah, you could, and I suggest. Yeah. But telling people what to do, yeah, who the fuck am I to tell somebody what to do? I screwed my life up. I have not earned the right to judge other people. Right? I'm not God. I don't get to determine that person's worth. Compared to what? To that person? Well, now it's just unfair, man. You know, why can't we just let that person be that person? Why? Because they're on the side of the street screaming and yelling? I've done that. Yeah. Got people fucking recording them and laughing at them and stuff. Yeah. Give me 1 second here. I didn't think you want to hear me yell. After a time, fear and intolerance subsided. Now, I kind of get it. You know, I spent years and years and years looking for where I belong. And when anybody comes along to disrupt that, you bet there's a fear. Morning, Gary. It's good to see you. There's a fear there. What is the fear? That I'm going to lose something I hold so precious. My oh, Lord of the Rings. The group survives unscathed. Everybody has learned a great deal. So it is that few of us are any longer afraid of what any newcomer can do to our reputation or effectiveness. Yeah. There's a lot of people that I see running around just cutting down. You know, I'm going to give an example. Right. St. John's out here in Colorado, they hold Celebrate Recovery. And I support Celebrate, and I wrote in there, I'm like, hey, I go to, I love AA, but Celebrate Recovery is great. Good job. Good job. Because I support it. You bet. There's this other guy who goes off on a tyrant about, I don't know what it was, about how it didn't work. And I wrote back and I said, all I hear you saying is that you were unwilling to do the work and you wanted to stay sick. It's what it is. Okay. That step 10 can be a doozy for people. Why? Because some of us relish, I did this for a while, some of us relish in our mental defectiveness, our mental illnesses, our PTSD, our anxiety, our depressions. ADHD is the new fad. Right? All they did was give it a different fucking name. It's ADD. It's the same thing. They just gave it a new name. Okay? But people don't really have ADHD. It doesn't really exist. Okay? What that is you don't know how to handle your emotions. Okay? Easily distracted doesn't mean you're ADHD. And this is all opinion, by the way. Okay? I'm not a doctor, but I've been around long enough to see how these names have changed. And I've been labeled these things, you know. So, you know, I had a therapist and she's like, do you think you have ADHD? And I kind of went off on her a little bit. I'm like, number one, I think that's rude for you to say to me. I do. I think that's rude. All right, she was a great therapist. Try to get my hopefully I can get my fucking, because I really like to see her again, right? So I'm like, fine, I'll go look for a diagnosis. I made 5 phone calls. Yes, I need a diagnosis for ADHD. Okay, in the meantime, would you like meds? Click. 5 times. Same fucking question. I didn't ask for meds. I did not ask for fucking meds. What does that mean? You weren't listening to me. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. See? To me, that's just a racket. Mm-mm. Then do things so you can focus. Teachers. Okay, anyway. Those who slip, those who panhandle, those who scandalize, those with mental twists, those who rebel at the program, those who trade on the AA reputation, all such persons seldom harm an AA group for long. Some of these have become our most respected and loved. Some of these have become our most respected and best loved. Some have remained to try our patience sober, nevertheless. Others have drifted away. We have begun to regard those ones not as menaces, but rather as our teachers. They oblige us to cultivate patience, tolerance, and humility. We finally see that they are only people sicker than the rest of us. That we who condemn them are Pharisees whose false righteousness does our group the deeper spiritual damage. Yeah, because then you're going to start to gossip. See, none of this is working. Patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. Why? That's me. It's me. That's why it's upsetting, because I'm getting my own shit thrown in my face, right? Yeah. Every older AA shudders when he remembers the names of persons he once condemned, people he confidently predicted would never sober up, persons he was sure ought to be thrown out of AA for good of the movement. Now that some of these very same persons have been sober for years and may be numbered among his best friends, the old timer thinks to himself, what if everybody had judged these people as I once did? What if AA slammed the door in their faces? Where would they be now? Now, people have got to have a chance, man. And you'll get frustrated in some meetings. Some people go in and out, and in and out, and in and out. And then they make it. Okay. But I don't know who's going to make it and who's not. I know that your chances may be good for today based upon the actions that you're doing, but that's the extent of it. Yeah. That is why we all judge the newcomer less and less. Here's the thing. This is the way I work it. It's respect. That person had to muster up all the courage in the fucking world to walk through the door or to log on to the meeting. So let's show a little respect. Remember when you went through it? Let's show a little respect. We can't trust them. We know they're lying because they're alcoholic. They're lying. Okay? So let's throw some respect in there, because when we respect them, we're respecting ourselves and we're respecting the group. If alcohol is an uncontrollable problem to him and he wishes to do something about it, that is enough for us. We care not whether his case is severe or light, whether his morals are good or bad, whether he has complications or not. Our AA door stands wide open, and if he passes through and commences to do anything at all about his problem, he's considered a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. He signs nothing, agrees to nothing, promises nothing. We demand nothing. He joins us on his own say-so. Nowadays, in most groups, he doesn't even have to admit he's an alcoholic. He can join AA on the mere suspicion that he may be one, that he may already show the fatal symptoms of our malady. All right. I hear this quite often. Someone say, hey, I'm Dion, and they'll start talking. Somebody will interrupt and say, and what? No, you can't do that. Even if I just start talking, who are you? Fuck you. You don't need to say it. Quit doing that. You nowhere in the big book does it say I have to say my name is Dion, I'm an alcoholic in a meeting. There's no fucking requirement for that. So pick on people for that. Maybe they're not there yet. Okay? Because when it comes to alcoholism and all addiction, self-diagnosis is the only diagnosis. Yes. A doctor is not going to write in your chart that you're an alcoholic. No. They're going to write, has alcohol use disorder. That is not alcoholism. That could be a variety of things. A variety. Okay? So I don't get to determine who's an alcoholic. In fact, no. Sorry, I almost blew anonymity. Don't want to do that. All right. Of course, this is not the universal state of affairs throughout AA. Membership rules still exist. If a member persists in coming to meeting drunk, he may be let outside. We may ask someone to take him away, but in most groups, he can come back the next day if sober. We had somebody in the meeting yesterday. I think it was at 3:00, and they were drunk, and they said that I am drunk. Okay, and he kept raising his hand, and we're like, no. And the chairperson made it pretty clear. Hey, you are welcome here. Okay. But for the duration of the meeting, you need to be quiet and listen. He was drunk. It happened. So he started utilizing chat. So he turned it off. Well, he left. He didn't stick around. He's like, over here, I'm dying. We're like, go to detox. Well, I'm not that bad. Come on, man. What are you? Okay. It's because he was currently drunk and in his stuff. And I wish he would have stuck around because suicide was the next. That was the option on the table. There wasn't anything I could do. Okay. Hey, there's a part in the doctor's opinion where he talks about if you do what we do sooner or later, you will feel your own inadequacy. And I did. I feel it quite often. And it makes me realize I can't get anybody sober. I couldn't even get me sober. Can't get other people sober. But what I can do is be the best example that I can. All right. Of course, this is not the universal. Though he may be thrown out of a club, nobody thinks of throwing him out of AA. He is a member as long as he says he is. While this broad concept of AA membership is not yet unanimous, it does represent the main current of AA through thought today. We do not wish to deny anyone his chance to recover from alcoholism. We wish to be just as inclusive as we can, never exclusive of the alcoholic. Okay. Perhaps this trend signifies something much deeper than a mere change of attitude on the question of membership. Perhaps it means that we are losing all fear of those violent emotional storms which sometimes cross our alcoholic world. Perhaps it bespeaks of our confidence that every storm will be followed by a calm which is more understanding, more compassionate, more tolerant than we ever knew. Okay? Now, the principles before personalities, and everybody here, because I do this, I repeat. I do a lot. Okay. It isn't a set of principles that you have come up with. No. Okay. No. It's not how it works. We have principles. There's a principle behind each step. These are the principles before personalities. Okay. Now, it doesn't quite, they were talking about membership rules and things like that. But in this, I just want you to understand that these are the principles we follow. Step 1 is honesty. Step 2 is hope. Step 3 is faith. Step 4 is courage. Step 5 is integrity. Step 6 is willingness. Step 7 is humility. I was looking right into the light when it turned back on. Step 8, brotherly love. Step 9, justice. My favorite, right? Step 10, perseverance. Step 11, spiritual awareness. Step 12 is service. All right. Didn't mean to slam that. Now let's read out of the daily reflection, see what they says. Who am I to judge anyone? There we go. I mean, what else do we need to say? Who else am I to judge anyone? Okay. There's only one person I get to judge, and that's me. And even then, I don't judge me. I don't try and determine my own worth. Good evening, Patricia. It's good to see you. Oh, it's always good to see you. Right? I don't get to, because when I'm judging somebody, I'm applying worth to that person. So that means, there's going to be a monetary amount or something like that. I often ask people, what's the cost of a human life these days to you? I ask body brokers that. I'm like, is it $5,000 a person still? Is that how much you get paid to send them to there? Yeah, right. All right. I'm kind of a dick that way. I tell you now, narcissists, they cannot tolerate me. They don't. I don't mean to, but I'll fuck with them. I don't mean to, but all right. When I first entered the fellowship, I found that I liked everyone. That was silly. Okay, let's talk a little bit about like and love. I love everyone. In order for me to do what it is that I do, I have to love everyone. But that doesn't mean I have to like you. It does not mean I have to tolerate bullshit. It does not mean that. Mm-mm. So, when I hear somebody speaking and they start to fucking irritate me, this is what I do. I look for things in them I like. It makes it easier for me to listen. Here's why. When I get up in the morning, I ask God for guidance and direction. He doesn't tell me who he's going to speak through. And it might be the person I do not like. See? I don't get to decide all that. So I have to remain open-minded. Well, if I'm over here judging this person, rolling my eyes, doing these other things, and I can't, it happens to me often. I get irritated at meetings, man. You can see it on my fucking face. Like I didn't relapse. I went and smoked crack. I'm like, okay, shut up. You're in an AA meeting. Okay, go to NA for that. And I don't even like crack. Well, you sound like you're still on crack. Because you're blah, 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 blah. What am I going to get out of that? What do I get out of that? Don't do crack. All right. After all, AA was going to help me to a better way of life without alcohol. The reality was that I couldn't possibly like everyone, nor they me. As I've grown in the fellowship, I've learned to love everyone just from listening to what they have to say. There we go. Okay, now they got it. That person over there, or that one right there, maybe the one God has chosen to give me the message I need for today. I must always remember to place principles before personalities. I swear to God, I did not read it first. I didn't read it first. All right. I just know how it always goes. Now that was kind of cool because it was kind of two different topics. One was about membership. The other one was about, understanding that when I judge somebody else, I'm not going to get anything out of it. In fact, it's just going to make my day frustrating. Because if I give that thought more than 17 seconds, it's going to stick. I just learned that a couple days ago, so I'm sharing it wherever I can. Hey, I always learn, man. Always. I'm finding the older I get, the more open-minded the more I need to focus on being open-minded. Because you go through life and you get stuck in your ways. And then you think that's the way to do it. And it isn't always so. Sometimes things change. If I don't stay open-minded, then how am I going to meet people where they're at? I won't be able to do that because I'll be too busy judging. Right? So, all right. That'll be it for this one. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day. Bye-bye. Oh, CJ had one more thing to say. You caught me just in time. Thank God for that. That is that 12. Another AA said to me, "How can you always be happy?" And I said, "I have a therapist." Because I don't dump at meetings. I have a sponsor. Oh. All right. Thanks for ending us on that, CJ. I appreciate it. All right. I love you. I have to do it. It's the people think, yeah, this is my whole tagline, and people still, nobody's ever asked. Okay, but have a day.